statement here from Calvin. And
You have a reference?
yes, Calvin.
Thank you. But I'm referring from Joseph Smith. What's the reference?
I didn't put a reference down because it's not it's not like, it's just one of his basic statements. God has and I'm only quoting this for the purpose of being able to use some terminology that perhaps you would accept, and that is that God has from the remotest eternity decreed what he would do, and is now by his own power, executes what he has decreed. I mean, this isn't something you need a reference on to look at the context or see if I'm misusing it or anything, is it?
No,
It's just his statement of what eternal decree means from his philosophy. I could, if you want that reference, I've got it at home, but I didn't put it down.
I just happen to have the Institute in front of me. That's why I wanted to be able to look at it.
And that's where it came from. But so at any rate, God has from the remotest eternity decreed what he will do, and is now by his own power executes what he has decreed. So everything is happening based upon what God has eternally decreed. So that removes the responsibility from me of anything that I might do, good, bad, or indifferent.
And those decrees include the creation of moral agents called men, who are judged on the basis of the actions they undertake, on the basis of their wills and the desires that are presented to them, all to bring about the glory of God. You see, the point being that God is big enough to decree what's going on in time and hold us responsible for the actions that we make there, and hence there is meaning for those things. In fact, it flows from God's decree.
That's right. He's holding us responsible for the actions which we have absolutely no control over.
And yet which we do freely. And who are you, O man, to answer back to God? Romans 9.
We do it freely but we do it freely based upon the
desires of our heart,
which came to us. Everything came to us from God. There is no one else to hold. There's no way logically to hold us responsible. The only one that can be held responsible is God, because everything that we are comes about because of God's eternal decree.
You've got a hand on a button, so I'll let you have the final word there.
You're on the air.
Yes, I would like to thank both of you gentlemen for participating in what I call a divine comedy of My God is Better Than Your God this evening. What I mean by that is, it seems to me that in the history of religions in the world, human beings have a need to sort of put down the other person in terms of what they believe. In terms of my God can beat up your God better than,
I don't remember saying that to you, Van.
No,
I missed that one.
Yeah,
No, what I'm saying is that there's a tendency within Christianity to be really pious in terms of stating that my God determines everything that I do because I am saved, and you do things because you're not Christian, because you're controlled by something other than God.
Well, I don't recall having said that, but I would say this, that the only reason that I do anything good, I give that glory to God in his grace, and I do not in any way, shape, or form claim any merit or reward for myself on the basis of that. I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about, but to God be the glory, and I take responsibility for anything that I do that is not to his glory.
See, there comes a point in time where one uses the term God as an escape for one's actions and conduct.
Well, I certainly don't.
That's the point of my calling in the first place as a Jewish person whose people have been persecuted for centuries at the hands of Christians.
At the hands of those who call themselves Christians.
Well, no, I mean it's gone back to the times of the followers of Christ, the people, the popes who had edicts during the Middle Ages, in Reformed theology, in this century. It'll continue on even into the next century. It's this whole sense that my God is better than your God. And rather than being in dialogue with one another, being accepting and loving one another, being in open dialogue and saying, hey, we've all created God together. Rather than doing that, we seem to nail other people for what they believe.
Well, that's all based upon, at least it sounds to me, you're basing your comments upon the idea that God has not revealed himself. Do you believe God has revealed himself?
Well, I believe that God reveals in ways that maybe we don't understand. And we try to affix human concepts and precepts to that.
Okay, and on that note, we're going to try and get in another caller too. Appreciate your comment. Thank you. You're on the air. Frank, are you there?
I can hear us in the background. But
Yes.
Frank.
Are you there, Frank?
Who's that?
It sounds like Mary Ann.
Yeah.
Well, we got Mary Ann.
Yeah,
Right?
we've got something mixed up. Go ahead.
Okay. I was wondering how Christianity figures into politics, let's say. If you're a Christian and you're going to not bear false witness and you're going to love your neighbor as yourself and all of that, can you still call the radio or talk to people and trash them, and that doesn't count?
Well, I think it counts.
Well, I don't know what you mean by trash them. I think Christians, this may be the first time the whole evening, Van, I agree with you. I think Christians, if they're engaged in public life, should certainly have a standard that will stick out like a sore thumb in comparison to what happens normally in the world.
Well, I'm talking about the president, the first lady, the governor, the mayor. Every day on Hey Talk and many of the other stations, we have a fair amount of hate radio, and people call up and say, Slick Willie, and...
Yeah, well, my feeling about that is that the Bible tells us to pray for our leaders. That does not mean we have to agree with them. It does not mean we cannot speak out against any falsehoods they may be saying, but we are to pray for them, and the Bible does command us to do that.
Okay, thank you. You're on the air.
There's a book named New Age Tantra Yoga, which was written by a man named Zito, who was a retired Christian minister. He worked at a church in Hollywood for a number of years. He has a Doctor's of Theology degree. And he's in his 90s. I don't know if he's still living. I spoke to him once. But in his book, he made the statement that there was someone in Russia who had evolved a mathematical formula for mental telepathy. And I wonder if that couldn't be considered a first step or a beginning step towards actually determining the physical mechanism and function of God. In other words, don't you think mathematics will be to the future scientific investigation of God as mythology was to the historical presentation of God?
Well, we're not going to respond to your question because we're right down to where we're out of time. But do you want to make a comment on this?
Summarize by saying